Hello, hello, hello. Happy already Wednesday, November 8th today. How is everyone doing? Sterling with the news in there. Good morning. Hey, I got the color to be darker. I don't know if that looks any better. But it looks better against a white background. I don't know. I'll have to figure this out. Oh boy, so the comments are changed. I finally remembered. Hey, Patrick, good morning. That's not much better. What color should I make it? What color should I make it? Good morning, Jacob. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Heinrich, how are you doing? It's an interesting stat, Sterling. 1 in 3 home buyers are paying all in cash. Good morning, Royal Palms. Again, I hope everyone is doing wonderfully. What day is it? It's hump day. Oh, boy. All right. Well, we got important speak coming up this morning. Powell speaking in about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes is Sterling. I'm sure if he says anything important while this live stream is going, we'll put it in the live stream. By the way, how's the auto business going, Sterling? How's everything? Is it still chugging along? Other than that, we have a lot of other Fed speak today, but Powell's the most important. We got some other Fed speak, and that beyond that, it's very, very quiet. We had the mortgage information come out, and we got some bill and note auctions. So those will be they're actually having more effect right now. So keep an eye on those. Sort of a mixed market this morning, but what's interesting, you'll see healthcare rotation in. Let me just jump to the sectors, because you see healthcare, real estate, basic materials are moving up, and that's generally a rotation into more defensive stuff. Energy still pulling back, so there's a slight rotation into some defensive stocks pre-market. Going to be watching to see if that holds up at the open. Fed watch is back to the first cut at the June meeting. At the June meeting is the first cut, but no other hikes on site, and still in fear mode. Let's see who else. Good morning, Richard. Sport betting versus day trading, which is better? All right, I don't run a sports betting channel because I'm not real good at sports betting. It's not that I don't understand the betting part. I'm just not good with coming up with all the what I think is, I guess, overvalued versus undervalued. I played professional blackjack for years as a card counter. That I can do. Anything that gives me a mathematical statistic edge. I do not have a mathematical statistical edge in sports betting, so it is not something I do. Some people do because they're very good at coming up with their own internal line and knowing when to place the bets. Good morning. That's why I'm on here talking about investing and or trading versus sports betting. Auto business is slowing, and we are always seeing a lot of cash buyers, just like home buyers, huh? A lot of cash buyers. Yeah. All right. Oh, I did not look at Roblox this morning. Anybody have Roblox's earnings? AMC, Walt Disney are the big ones after the close, especially Walt Disney. AMC I just watched for humor purposes. Going to be very interesting when we have that next recession for AMC. But we're really winding down. I mean, besides Disney, there's not much I'm looking at for the rest of the week. Now, if you're in any of these stocks, of course, you'll be looking at stuff, but there's just not much. So that's where that sits. Disney's in a horizontal channel, by the way, at this point. Why is that coming up there? Hold on. Oh, shoot. There we go. All right. All right. Let me close something down here. There we go. So is there a potential double top in the 2-year yield on the 4 hours? I don't even have the 2-year yield in my list anymore. I'll have to add that again. S&P, sort of, let's get down to shorter term because we do technically have a potential double top going into the open. Could be invalidated when Powell starts speaking. But this puts sort of a makes it more interesting. I should have drawn. We're just going to do the modified one because it's going to be messed up with this little stuff. It's really on the 4 hour now. You see it here. So 43.87.50 on a closing basis, 43.80.75, 43.77, 43.74 roughly. Could be invalidated. Next minor target is 44.08. If it takes off, if Powell's dovish, but we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days up. Very overbought cycles at the top, so I'm watching for at least a pause / pullback. Even if it's double triggered, it would still just be a pausing move. Now I'm still watching the area, this 43.65 area from the last couple days. We start breaking below there, I'll watch to target that 50 EMA at 43.50. But then we're into a rising rotation zone. Are you on the right channel, Coco? Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer arriving in December. Are you on the right channel? Did you tune into the gaming channel or the Pat Trading? How to clean keyboard after spill coffee on it. Talk about sticky inflation. So Jacob says Microsoft hourly double top. Just rinse it off in the sink, Richard. Just rinse your keyboard off in the sink. Then don't use it if you do that for a while. Let it dry. Next target, by the way, above 44.08. We have about 44.18, 44.30, and then the major target still 44.42. Again, it's all going to depend on Powell, but if he's hawkish at all, we could see at least a pause / pullback. By the way, on the weekly, why is this? Why did that get messed up too? There we go. Boy, sometimes things just go a little haywire. We still have weekly cycles climbing. So daily cycles at the top, weekly cycles still climbing, so we can still see a slight pullback and then back to the bottom and then another push up to get to top. Top at this point will probably correspond around Thanksgiving. So keep that in mind still. NASDAQ up against, now this is, I redrew the trend line to, before it was the best fit, now it's a properly drawn trend line. So this is the initiating point back on the 19th of July, the defining point on the 15th of September. We're also against a pretty significant level up here. We closed yesterday about the 62.5. So on any pullback, unless it closes at this point below about 46.16 area, I have to remain bullish. Now, if it starts breaking down below 14.860, I'll shift more into neutral mode. But even on a pullback, I'm now looking potentially 15.582, then 15.822. 15.822 being the 87.5 magnet price. And a gap left behind. A gap all the way from July left behind. All right. To the downside, we did not earlier have a little mini double. Let's see if we do now on the 4 hour. Let's see if we do, if it's come up yet enough. And it has not. So if this spikes up going into the open, watch for a potential double setup. The key low would be 15.336.25. All right, and these are against the 4 hour rotation zones, so it doesn't necessarily have to get to all the targets because of the lower probability. To the upside, I'm really focused on 15.425. Then we get through that about 15.475, and then 15.5, and then 15.582. The major support is all the way back at 15.101 with the rising rotation zone. The Dow, still we're in the rollover zone, and this is a minor rollover zone. The next major target isn't until 34.557. Minor target still 34.317. Intermediate target 34.460. Minor support. Let's just take a look at that 4 hour. There's now no double because it's a triple. with it looking like a continuation move potentially. So if we really break out, I'd be focused on that 34 460 area. And then remember 34 557 on a closing basis. The Russell, which has reaction at the 50, trying to rotate back up, but the Russell is the weakest. This is the last thing I'm looking at for a bullish move right now. The Russell needs to break above roughly about 1747 intraday into a clear path move. And then the target would be about 1765. The breakdown area is about 1725 for a further pullback. I haven't found a lot of good setups in the Russell. The VIX looking like it's trying to form a rounded bottom with the rounded tops in the S&P and NASDAQ. So going to keep an eye on that, but I need a really pretty strong move above 16 before I get flop more to the significantly bearish side versus a pausing move. The DAX is 15,287, 15,285, pretty close to a double top, but not quite. We'll probably get there today. Then I'll be watching for that. Is still not closed above the 62.5. So it'll be interesting to see if it closes above 15,302, because that would continue to lead for potential price higher. But we'll have to watch that double top then. The double top area. Why does that keep popping up when I got it blocked? Huh. All right. Is it time to invest in the stock market? Anything now? I'm looking in my way. I recorded the podcast, which gives, but the longer term channel people who listen every day should know my thoughts already. I'm still watching for a continued bounce due to November with everything after completing, but then I'm expecting another rollover play. We still have long-term and intermediate-term sell signals. So, but we have short-term buy signals. So it depends on what your investment horizon and time frame is. The 10-year is in a horrific a horrific triangle pattern. It's really, if it breaks out above the C, you got 1809. And then 1815 is key stopping points. So why I hate triangle patterns. And the key major breakdown here is 107.23. So nothing much going on in there. I'm just going to wait for better price action. The 10-year yields. Now don't worry about this hitch. It might not invalidate. If the yields climb, it could be forming a potential double bottom. But if they plummet through 453, then I'm going to be still focused on pullback closer to 440. All right, that's where my next key area is, but this anywhere in here is a key support zone. Sterling, you were asking about the 2-year. What is it? It's Y, there it is. 2 YYs. There's the 2, and I don't know why I have to add that again. Let me just add this to the list. Again, it fell off the other day. You were asking about a double top. I haven't even been doing the updates on this since it fell off the list. Don't bother doing that as a double top. It's too big a mess. Let's check the weekly though. It's just, don't bother. It's too sloppy with that. All right, let's get to some other stuff. Dollar index, we closed back below that key level. I'm going to watch how it reacts with Pow Speaks close, and then to try to push higher. We still got daily cycles trying to push up, but we have weekly cycles trying to get to the bottom. So once we roll over daily cycles and get back to the bottom, I'll be watching for a more substantial bottom pattern. But 105.21 is still today on a daily closing basis what I'm watching. Crude, Interesting enough, I put up, this is from the podcast, I put up the weekly sloppy head and shoulders patterns just to see we hit the first target officially. We dropped through. I'm not seeing any bid at 79, so I think they were bluffing with the SPR fill. And you see yesterday just slicing through it like a hot knife through butter. Still 75.41 on the closing basis. For the rest of the stuff, you'll have to listen to the podcast when it drops. But the next targets are about 72.84, 69.23. And the key area on the weekly I'm watching, if we close below that 62.5, is a reconnection with the 200 before possibly forming a base. Gold, we have the head and shoulders coming down. We're finally getting to daily. Closer to a cycle bottom, but still weekly cycle top. So even on a bounce, I'm watching for a consolidation or further pullback. All right, after the massive 3-week run up. So I'm just keeping an eye on these targets for pullback areas. Bring on Bob. We'll go reach out to Bob and tell him to come on, Coco. Why are you tuning in if you don't want to listen to me? Nothing much in the yen. Still keeping an eye on this 150, 195 to 152 area. Euro still in the channeling pattern. Going to watch see if this bounces up to take out the third target and the 200 during Powell. Can somebody confirm if he's speaking now? So Fed's Powell does not comment on monetary policy or economic outlook and prepared introductory remarks to U.S. Central Bank Statistics Conference. So in his prepared remarks, no comment, so they'll have to be during the potential if there's a Q&A session. So probably nothing right now we'll get from Powell with that. No comment on remarks there. Or in the prepared speech. I don't mean remarks. Pound, not much. Dropping below the key support, so no great setup in the pound just now. Spiders, closing yesterday against key resistance. The next key target is 440.60. 440.60. That's about it. There's not a great pausing area. The only pausing area on the 4-hour was here. Technically the pause bar. Not going to be as strong, but that gives us a cluster area of about 439.67 to that 440.60. And also remember, you do have a gap left behind to 438.64. So on any push up, first target 438.64, then that 439.67 to 440.60 area is very significant. On a pullback, the first level support is 435.50. Then we're at 434.20 to 434. Qs, remember, also there at the cycle tops. The Qs closing above the 62.5. Next major target 376.57 and 382.28. Trading 372.97 pre-market. 372.70 is the support from the closing gap yesterday. If it rolls over, and then the support really is until 369.17 for some significant support. So significant support isn't coming in till right around this the low from yesterday. The low from yesterday. Keep that in mind, and then we roughly have. The 367 area. All right. Good morning, PMG. Let's get to Tesla. Tesla still caught in a little range. If we break above 225.50 area, 225.70 area, 231.50, and then 235.63. Key support is now 215. We break below 215, 211, and then a gap fill to 205. Keep in mind with, again, a lot of the mega caps are at cycle tops. But so far with cycle tops, we've only had a sideways move. I'm still watching for the next rollover play in Tesla. NVIDIA in go-go mode again. Continues to climb higher. Next key target there is 465.60 area, the 87.5 on the last minor swing. When does your rain turn to snow? Well, we had snow on Halloween, but it didn't. It stuck and then it was gone the next day. But we probably won't get any more till at least the end of November / early December. Pan W, Palo Alto. We covered that actually on the podcast too. Right now, it's in a minor pullback channel. You'll have to listen to when's the earnings, because will a podcast drop before earnings? Yes, it will. So you'll have to listen to the podcast if you want the fuller thoughts on Pan W, but this is not a double. This is not a double right here. If you want the minor key area, which I did not review on the stuff, I'd be looking for a close above 253.87 for a continue to retest the highs. Other than that, you're caught in a little flagging channel pattern. It's almost a horizontal channel, but you can go with the flagging channel. If you want a front run, it's 252 to the upside. The breakdown area is roughly about 237 on a closing basis. For anyone here wanting to try prop trading, I tried it last month, didn't like it at all. The way the trailing threshold is based on the highest level of profit the trade achieved makes you cash out early and sets you up for small winners and big losers. In short, makes you trade. Which firm were you trading with? Because different firms have different stuff. But a lot of prop trading firms, because of the leverage, they want you to use more leverage and small winners. But I do agree with your stuff. If you want to let stuff run, their rules, a lot of the prop firms have contradictory rules to letting stuff run with wider stops, even if they're trading smaller size. And they really don't, a lot of them don't want you carrying positions. Sure, we can look at silver. Silver confirmed the double, but not triggered. Not triggered. The double's confirmed, but not triggered. Still needs a daily close below 222.56. Still the same thoughts. I'd be looking at these levels for pullbacks. 21.97. Until then, I'd personally be waiting based off where we sit with gold and silver. Silver at the weekly top. Unless it can break above this 23.50, it could stay in chop mode. So for me, a bullish break would be above 23.50. It has to prove itself unless you're in some kind of accumulation mode. Other than that, these levels would be used for pullbacks from my perspective. 21.97, 21.63, and 21.38. So, all right, with that, here's Roblox. Minus 45 versus 41. What's Roblox doing? Let's all rush into Roblox. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, look at that. So they had 45 cents versus 49. Revenue 77.13 versus 8.24. Stocks up. See, this is insane. Look, those weren't good numbers. It already filled the gap. But see, this is the insane stuff. It's why I don't trade this crap. Would I be buying that based off of those kind of results? No, but you're still in. You're still in. We still have market insanity. So, looks like it could continue. You're welcome, Jacob. They're not a scam. Remember, well, I can't speak for all. There might be some scammy prop firms out there. I've worked with a couple different ones. And the way they structure it, generally, there's some that don't structure it as severely. Or if you have, it depends also what kind of money you're putting up. Or if they're not requiring you to put up anything, then they really keep the reins on you tightly. But they're not a scam. You just have to know the rules going in because you're trading with their money as leverage. Successful trading habits do not work for the one you were with. So that's where I got to leave it. I got to jump into the open to deal with some stuff today. So I'm going to wrap it up for now. But I appreciate you putting that in there, Sterling. The thing is to learn to trade correctly versus learning to rush after money. Money will come, but it takes, as Sterling said, you don't want to have small winners and big losers. You want actually the other thing, bigger winners and small losers. And then manage positions and know when to raise stops more aggressively and raise them and give other things room to run. Because when you're in a good trade, okay, you want to stick with that good trade as long as you can. You're welcome, Nisa. I will be back for the unemployment numbers tomorrow morning, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.